Well guys, we are getting closer and closer to that Nintendo Direct season in early February, and of course, more rumors are starting to pop up, and some more credible ones as well. But this new rumor we're talking about today might give us a better idea as to the structure of this presentation and how it matches the other two Nintendo Directs that we've had so far. But of course, before we dive into the Nintendo Direct goodness, please make sure you guys leave a like and subscribe. Today is actually my birthday. Yeah, I'm 28. I'm turning Unk status soon, pushing the 30s. So as a birthday gift, let's just see how many people we can get to subscribe that are watching this today. We are still trying to reach 400,000 subscribers by the end of this year, which should definitely be manageable. But obviously, you guys can make that happen a lot quicker. Thank you so much for tuning in, and let's dive in to the next Nintendo Direct. Alright, so today's source is Nin10doland, and apparently his source stated, expect a Nintendo Direct in February with some anniversary announcements in the show. Now something he says is there's some notable anniversaries this year with Metroid, Legend of Zelda, Mario's 40th, Pokemon's 30th, Animal Crossing, GameCube's 25th, plus many more third-party franchises. Yeah, there's a lot of anniversaries this year because I know Sonic is technically having its 35, I believe. Now, normally Nin10doland really isn't a leaker, just a content creator, and when he gets information, he's been pretty spot on. Remember, he's one of the first people to let us know to expect the Switch 2 Direct in January. Back then, he actually said, source, Nintendo to reveal Nintendo Switch 2 in January. This was in December, he said this, of 2014. This is coming from a major third-party developer contact I have. Here's what they say about the console. Get ready to play modern AAA offerings on your Nintendo system in 2025. Now, there is also a couple of other things that they got right here and there, but calling the Switch 2 reveal was pretty big. I mean, at the time, we had no clue what Nintendo's plans were for the new console. I mean, we did not know at all that it was going to be in January. So, Nin10doland might have some information on something which just makes a lot of sense. Now, when you look at all these anniversaries that it could be, the first thing that screams in my mind is Zelda. Now, yes, it's also Mario's 40th, but they've already pretty much celebrated in the last Direct. I mean, the first 15 minutes of the last Nintendo Direct was dedicated to all Mario. I mean, they revealed a lot too, like Super Mario Galaxy Movie and also Mario Galaxy 1 and 2 re-releasing on Nintendo Switch. They showed off Mario Tennis Fever, Mario Brothers Wonder Switch 2 Edition, and also Yoshi and the Mysterious Book. So I hardly doubt Nintendo's going to spend any more time on Mario's 40th anniversary, especially since it's ending around March of this year, unless they want to show your boy in a 3D world, you feel me? Now, I believe February 21st is when the actual anniversary day is, so in February they can start, the anniversary festivities, and it makes a lot of sense for this to be one of the big parts of the upcoming Nintendo Direct, also being in February. It just all lines up really well. Now, Nintendo actually did this back in the 2021 E3 Nintendo Direct, which would be around the summertime. They ended the show with a big Zelda segment. They revealed the first wave of DLC for Hyrule Warriors Age of Calamity. My personal favorite Zelda game, Skyward Sword, got an HD remaster, which I truly loved. They had a small segment for a Legend of Zelda Game & Watch that you could actually pick up and play or use as an alarm clock, whatever you wanted. And they finally ended it with our first significant trailer for the next Zelda game being Tears of the Kingdom. I mean, we didn't even know the name of the game back then still. And all of that was just for the 35th. So looking at what Nintendo did for Mario on the 40th and what they did for Zelda on the 35th, I could imagine that the Zelda 40th anniversary is going to be a pretty big deal, and it looks like they're also going to combine it with the Nintendo Direct once again. Now, this is something Nintendo's kind of been doing, and it almost looks like this is Nintendo's new way of handling things with Nintendo Directs, just making them an hour long. I mean, so far for the Switch 2, both Nintendo Directs have both been an hour long. The first one focused on the Switch 2 hardware a lot of the time, and then the games, which gave it that hour length, and then the second one focused on the Mario anniversary, and then Switch 2 games. So we could be getting another one that focuses on the Zelda anniversary and Switch 2 games. Now the question is, will the anniversary segment start the show, or will it end the show? This, I believe, is completely depending on what they announce for the anniversary. I said with the Mario information that it's going to be a very showing thing if they start or end the show with Mario. If they start with Mario, odds are they don't have a big 3D Mario to show off. But if they end with Mario, I think they kind of have to, because what do you end a Nintendo Direct with that could be Mario related? It had to be a next big mainline game, and I think the same thing happens with Zelda here. If it starts the show, we can expect still something really big at the end of the show that's not Zelda related. This one's tough for me, and I think it's the most difficult thing to predict, because where do they put the Zelda segment? It could be at the beginning if there's something that's not too important. If it's a lot of remakes, remasters, and stuff, they could. But some of the stuff that we've been kind of expecting it sounds like it could be big enough to end the show for sure. What if Nintendo gives us another super early look at the next Zelda game, like they've done in the past? Like 2 years later in 2019, after the original Breath of the Wild released, we got a trailer for Tears of the Kingdom. It was super early, but it was still a trailer. Now, it seems like so far with the Switch 2 generation, Nintendo's keeping their cards close to their chest and not revealing things until they're almost ready. But still, this is Zelda. Zelda's always been an exception, and they've always revealed Zelda games really early just to get the hype up, and this is something that they could definitely do by just teasing what the next Zelda is going to be, maybe showing us an art style or a world. Is it finally going to be out of the Breath of the Wild era? Thankfully, please. But that's definitely something that would end a direct in my opinion. And then you have the heavily rumored Ocarina of Time remake. This is something that I definitely think is happening, and if it's as ambitious as we're hoping, this is something that could definitely end the show, for sure. I mean, people will lose their minds over something like this. And with those two things alone, it's got me really thinking that this Zelda anniversary celebration part of the Direct has to be at the end. But those are just the big things. I'm sure we will learn more about the Zelda movie, maybe more of the cast and the world and just some screenshots, something to get us excited, maybe like a first look trailer or something, who knows. And we could even get some other Zelda games brought over to Nintendo Switch and Switch 2, like the remasters of Wind Waker and Twilight Princess, or maybe they just give us Twilight Princess on GameCube NSO since Wind Waker is already there, which would be kind of sucky, I'm not gonna lie, compared to the HD remasters, but you know what, we take what we can get. And there's other games on the list that I would love to see again, like maybe Link Between Worlds, and we also had rumors of Triforce Heroes coming back, or even Four Swords Adventures, so there's a lot of stuff that they could actually give us. But with Zelda pretty much guaranteed to start or end the show, that means we're going to only have room for one big announcement, and that's why I said this is so difficult to predict, because if Nintendo has a really big first-party game coming up, something that they want to make sure that they close the show with, then Zelda would have to be first. So maybe the new Zelda Ocarina of Time remake is something that starts the show with a bang, because there's still two other big games that they could fill in slots for the beginning or the end. Like Splatoon Raiders, we know nothing about. This is a big, third-person adventure shooter game, with Splatoon being a giant single-player adventure, so it's a pretty big deal. This is something that could start or end the show. Remember, Nintendo doesn't always have new games to start or end the show with. Normally, it's just big games. But I really don't see Fire Emblem Fortune's Weave having any more time in the beginning or the end of the show. This just feels like a middle-of-the-show thing to me. Like, this is a perfect thing to slap dab right in the middle, give some more information about the game and everything, give a release date, move on to the next batch of games. So in my personal perfect world in my head, I think starting the show with Zelda's anniversary, having Splatoon Raiders and Fire Emblem Fortune's Weave right in the middle of the show somewhere, having its own little segments in the center, and then ending the show with one big surprise for 2026. Because not even including the third parties, Nintendo has a lot of stuff that they can fill this show with. I mean, Mario Tennis Fever will still not quite be out yet, but I don't really think they're going to cover that too much. But they got Pokemon Pokopia to go over, Yoshi and the Mysterious Book, Tomodachi Life, Super Mario Bros. Wonder Switch 2 Edition, and Rhythm Heaven Groove. And just like Nintendo Talk said, there's lots of anniversaries still going on this year, though, that's not just Mario and Zelda. For instance, Pokemon's having its 30th anniversary this year, which is undoubtedly going to be a huge one, but I don't think Nintendo themselves are going to talk about anything in this Direct, because we know there's going to be a Pokemon Presents on Pokemon Day later on in February, so that's probably when you're going to hear information about Gen 10 releasing for the holiday. That's going to be a huge title for the later half of 2026. And in August, we're going to have Metroid's anniversary. It's going to be Metroid's 40th, which is crazy, but we did just get Metroid Prime 4 Beyond in December. Is there a chance we could get anything else Metroid? There's a good chance we could get a new 2D Metroid game. I mean, the last one we had was Metroid Dread, which was around 4.5 years ago. It'll be 5 years old this October, so maybe Mercury Steam also has another Metroid in the works for us. And after the reception for Prime 4, that might be the best idea to get Samus back on the map. But with all of that, we made space for that final announcement to end the show, and we haven't even talked about it yet. It could be anything. I mean, really, as you can see, Nintendo has been kind of in the spotlight of being fired at for not having a huge first-party game to look forward to. I mean, investors have even said that they're looking to see Nintendo's big first-party game that's coming up. Even Nintendo senior employees have stated that the poor Switch 2 holiday sales were due to the lack of a major Western game. So I think Nintendo knows they have to have a huge first-party game coming out, something that the whole world can talk about, something on the scale of the next Zelda or Mario, which would make sense for it to be the next Mario. I mean, let's be honest. As much as I want this to happen, I'm still not predicting it for this year, because my heart is just not in it anymore. As much as I want it, I definitely still want it. my heart's not in it as it used to be. I just don't know. It's just so weird the way Nintendo's handling this game. I don't know if this is just going to be the most massive game that we've ever experienced in our lives. It's going to blow our freaking minds out of the stratosphere. That's why it's taking so long, but I just don't have faith that this game is going to be shown off. I mean, as awesome as it would be, with everything that I talked about today, this would be one of the greatest Nintendo Directs of all time, but that's exactly why I'm not predicting it, because it would be one of the greatest Nintendo Directs of all time, and Nintendo just doesn't operate that way. So that is why I'm not expecting 3D Mario, but rather the next best thing. No, I'm not counting Smash Brothers either. I think that's still way too big. I don't know. It just doesn't feel like something that Nintendo's going to do quite yet. So I'm going something more along the lines of Luigi's Mansion 4. I think it's something that's going to be pretty big for a lot of us. I mean, Luigi's Mansion 3 sold like hotcakes, and this is just kind of my game of the year to be expecting. You know what I mean? Every year I have like huge expectations on a specific game, and I think this year is definitely going to be Luigi's Mansion 4 to me. Does that mean it's going to happen? Absolutely not, but I think there's a good chance that we see this well before we see the next 3D Mario game. That's just my take. Personally, I want to see 3D Mario here, but we're just going to have to wait and see. What do you guys think? What is Nintendo going to end the show with? What are they going to start the show with? How do you think this anniversary is going to be slapped into this Nintendo Direct? Let me know what you think down below. Make sure you leave a like and subscribe before you head out, and I hope you all have a blessed day. Thank you guys, and I'll see you in the next one. See ya.